Hello? Hello? Is that me, Dale? I'm seeing, buddy.
Stella was born May 18th of 2011. She was really easy as a baby. We used to joke with our pediatrician about how easy she was. So we were pretty lucky.
On a Thursday night, she kind of got a red spot in her diaper area, and so I started thinking maybe she had a bladder infection that turned into a kidney infection, and it was getting so bad that she was getting a red spot. So we got her into the doctor. We were both there, and they did a finger poke to test her blood, and they said her hemoglobin's a little low. We're gonna need to do an arm draw to get a better reading. And so they came in and did that, and then the pediatrician, he was emotional. And that's the, for some reason, every time I tell that part I cry, because it's just such a weird experience hearing your doctor, who's always been this goofy guy, upset on the other line. And he said, I don't know how to tell you this is really scary. He said, I've already talked to the pediatric oncologist down at Blanks, and she's waiting for you, and you guys need to get down there. And I was hysterical and went in and told Chris, and he just kind of was numb. I think he thought I heard the doctor wrong, and kept telling me to calm down and
just denying the fact.
Yeah. Her oncologist walked in and kind of explained everything to us, and I just remember repeatedly asking her, what else could this be? It's got to be something else. And she said there was a slight chance it could be histoplasmosis. I just remember praying the entire night, like, please let it be histoplasmosis and not cancer, which is so weird to be praying that. And so that day when she was admitted to Blank, she got a blood transfusion, and in the afternoon we knew she had leukemia, and so she started chemo that Monday, and she was only supposed to stay in the hospital about a week. And the day she was supposed to get out, around then, she started having fevers again. They couldn't figure out why, and kids with leukemia have such a low immune system that something that you or I could get and not even know it affects them seriously. And so she got a fungal infection, got pretty serious. She got really, really sick, and we spent 2 months down at Blanks, and yeah, do you remember being in the hospital? And she looked like a totally different kid. One of her eyes was shut permanently. She lost a lot of weight. She stopped walking. So we stayed at the hospital 2 months, and then on the 4th of July, we got to come home. So it's kind of like Estella's Independence Day. So, I think everyone hears before they're touched by childhood cancer, you hear of it and you say, oh, I can't imagine that, or I could never get through that. But you just find it within yourself to be strong and go forward and make the best of it.
Yeah, I mean, you automatically just go into whatever mode you need to go into for your kid. That's the way it is.
And as far as Estella being strong through it, she was diagnosed 1 week before her 2nd birthday, so that's kind of right when you're going from being a baby to a toddler and learning about the world. So right away, her world was the hospital and the clinics and the doctors, and she actually loves going to the clinic. We were just there last week, and I said, let's leave and we'll go to lunch somewhere, and she said, no, I want to stay here. So she loves to play doctor and send her little princess dolls through a CT machine, and she never has questioned, why do I take medicine? Why am I taking this? When she lost her hair, she never asked why. When she looks at pictures, she doesn't comment on it, so it's just kind of like her norm.
Yeah.
She's doing pretty good. She'll be done with treatment the end of July, and she's doing pretty good. Walking,
playing with friends.
Trying out your scooter, right? Playing with Jade. Little.
Little wave?
You wave really big.
Do a smile.
Smile.
There you go.
Caleb was born August 17th, 2007, on our 7th wedding anniversary. He was a great baby. He was always happy, energetic, even as a young one, and still is today. Just overall content as can be, always had a smile on his face, and he's the 4th child, so that kind of happens, I think, naturally. We started noticing something was wrong about 2 weeks before his diagnosis date. He came home from daycare with bruises all over his body. We decided that the best route was to go into the ER. So we went to the ER on April 30th, 2012, about 11 p.m. at night, so it was awfully late. It was a hard drive there. Caleb was screaming that his eyes were hurting and that he couldn't see straight and that everything was spinning around him. And at 4, you know, that's really hard for them to explain. So when you're hearing that, it was just, you knew something was different about that ER visit. They said, about 2 a.m. came in and said, we're going to admit him. His blood work's off. We're not really sure what it is at this point, but the numbers aren't where we'd like them to be. So we're gonna admit him. They went ahead and sent us up to the oncology floor the next morning, May 1st, 2012. At 6 a.m., the doctor came in and introduced herself as my child's oncologist. And I said, I think you're in the wrong room. I'm confused. And they said, yeah, well, didn't they come in and explain to you that the blood work was off and that there was something wrong? And I said, absolutely. They came in and they explained that. I said, we just didn't know what was wrong. And she said, your child has leukemia.
When Caleb was first diagnosed, it was really tough on the other kids. They didn't know why their youngest sibling would have something that could potentially take him from them. And they struggled with that a lot. And I think even now they still struggle with it.
When he first started getting cancer, I used to do gymnastics, but sometimes I couldn't go because he'd be sick and I wouldn't have a ride.
Well, it was probably like extremely hard on us older kids because it's like the baby in the family, the youngest. You never went through this. You haven't had experience already through it. I thought that I would wake up, he won't be there.
Once Caleb got the G-tube out and he really turned a corner and we saw some great improvements in his treatment and his overall attitude towards his life and what was going on with him. And so we've definitely seen a lot of progress in him. He's more encouraging and uplifted now.
In August, he'll be done with chemotherapy, which will end a 3.5 years worth of chemotherapy that he's gone through. And I believe that he's excited about that. We're excited about that. He really has, in the last few months even, had a lot more energy, and you can kind of see that sparkle coming back into his eye. He's excited to be done with this.
To be able to see him grow and be able to realize that this is just one thing in a long life of other things to come. That this doesn't have to define him and who he is. It's just a piece of his life.